Good morning, and thank you for joining me today. We did not have the best of weekends during the weekend that had so many wonderful things happening in our community. As already know, we had 3 homicides occur within our community over the weekend. And admittedly, I'm disappointed. Admittedly, I'm frustrated, but I'm not dismayed or deterred. Every morning, we here at Team Savannah, our city council, our city manager, our police department, and city staff go to work to make a positive difference in the lives of those we serve, and we do our best within our span of influence to make people be safe and feel safe. Even in the midst of what has occurred this weekend, the following is clear. No one should ever lose their lives in our city because of gun violence. Further, 15-year-olds should not die in our city or anywhere because of gun violence. It's absolutely horrible and absolutely unacceptable. Our children are supposed to bury us. And as I spoke to the family yesterday of this young lady, we should be buried by them. We should not be burying our children. So when this happens, it tears from the fabric of our beautiful city. It destroys families and it eliminates potential. And is not and will not be the narrative of our city. All across the nation, there is what I would term a pre-post-pandemic syndrome, when there is a rise in temperament and a subsequent rise in tempers and violent crime, specifically gun crimes, which are rising not only in Savannah, but across the country. It's simply about how we are engaging with each other. We're angry about that, we're mad about this, we're pissed about this. And so crime is not raging in our community. Tempers are raging in our community. And when tempers are raging and a gun is introduced into the situation, you have violent acts of gun violence that are irreversible and changes lives forever. The recipe is clear, as we've stated before. People that have a dispute in their homes, in their cars, in their communities, with people they know, and a gun by someone who really should not have one, and then a really, really bad decision. The city of Savannah is executing our plan to the extent of our abilities, creating opportunities for people to do better and to be better, providing off-ramps for those who want to change their lives, and highlighting the many, many, many young people who are doing the right things every single day. We're relying on technology to police smarter, and we're building relationships in our community. We're using credible messengers and violence interrupters. We're investing in unprecedented summer activities to keep our young people engaged all summer long. And we're responding quickly and making quick, solid arrests when crime does occur in our community. Those are the facts. I've offered our assistance to our friends in the Superior State Courts of the Eastern Judicial Circuit to expedite speedy trials, because we need to have people who are doing these crimes off of our streets. I will be asking for the assistance of the U.S. Attorney and the District Attorney to make gun crimes and trigger pullers their top prosecutorial priority. This is unacceptable, and we need them off the streets. The police are making the arrest, so we need them to be sent away from this community until a time that they can act among civilized people, period. And I will continue to ask our senators and representatives both in the United States Congress and in the Georgia General Assembly to initiate and or support the passage of common sense gun laws, to advocate for extensive background checks, and the elimination of Wild West gun laws that we currently have in Georgia, which threatens to turn many of our cities into the OK Corral. That's not going to happen in Savannah. In the meantime, as the days get hotter, as summer approaches, as temperatures rise, I'm asking our citizens to be patient with people and be patient with ourselves. Mental health is real, and we must become each other's violence interrupters by diffusing conflict with others and amongst one another, and we must be willing to say what we see and proactively report the things that we know. We are our own community's reaction to the rising tempers. We have the opportunity in this community to make sure that we are stopping situations before they ever happen. We know when people are on the edge, and so therefore there are resources available. And we're hoping that people will get in the middle of some of those situations for people they love, wrap their arms around them, and get help for those situations. Because we know unchecked, these disputes, particularly with a gun involved, can become deadly. So as you know, there are 3 homicides that are under investigation. The chief is here, but I will tell you that they are all actively under investigation, and so Bianca is here as well, and so I'm sure that they don't have much to report beyond that which they've already released. But as we have done in the spirit of full transparency, the point at which we can release, we will release. But I want to support the efforts of the chief and our awesome detectives to find out the facts, to determine the facts, and make sure that we get those out to the public as soon as possible. In other better news, last Thursday I had the pleasure of witnessing the return of the Mayor's Small Business Conference. And I want to thank the Economic Development Department for their hard work in putting this together. City manager and I were present. We hosted over 200 small business leaders and entrepreneurs in our community and provided resources and insights to help them push through difficulties brought on by the pandemic to help the sustainability and the growth of their businesses. I want to send a special thank you to our keynote speaker, the Vice President, Executive Vice President of Carver State Bank, Robert James II. Last Thursday evening, I had the pleasure to preside again over the graduation ceremony for the Savannah Youth Council, which I had the pleasure of co-founding with Mayor Hostess Johnson in 2004. The Savannah Youth Council is a governmental youth leadership and engagement program for 8th graders. And during this 9-month program, they learn about the city of Savannah, they learn about our government, and as well as they learn and practice critical leadership skills that will serve them for the rest of their lives. I'm excited because we are building our own bench here in Savannah, and we're starting younger and younger and younger. And I want to thank the team of leaders from our Human Services Department and advisors who work with them all year long, as well as Ms. Kayla Abernathy, as well for her work. And I want to thank the parents and the guardians who entrust us to be a part of their village. We're all in this together, and we wish our 8th graders well as they head off to the big, wide world of high school. It must be pretty daunting. Thursday will be our first City Council meeting in May, and as always, there are plenty of important things to discuss. The regular meeting will start with recognizing the 22 Georgia Recreation and Parks Association state tournament winners for 10 and under, and the Pit Bulls youth basketball team. Following the recognition of our tournament winners, I will proclaim and declare the month of May as National Historic Preservation Month, International Internal Audit Awareness Month, and Building Safety Month. Among the purchasing items, council members will vote on a recommendation to award an annual contract for landfill cover material to Savannah River Utilities in the amount up to little over $1.4 million. This contract will be used by the sanitation department to provide cover material for usage at the Dean Forest landfill. In addition, council will consider including the execution of a contract for design services for the Thomas Gamble building renovation project. We have got to get this going. And this is with Green Line Architecture for $625,000, and consideration for a contract for tree and stump removal in the amount of up to $650,000. As you know, the council workshop and a regular meeting will be broadcasted on our city's Facebook page, our award-winning SGTV Channel 8, and on YouTube. We encourage all of our Savannahans to tune in for more information on these requested purchase items and for more city information. We'll also be revealing, I believe, during our workshop, some innovative things we're doing as it relates to homelessness, and I'm excited about those opportunities as we press forward of doing the hard work of ensuring that we are the beloved community by ensuring that those without roofs in our community are taken care of and put on a road of not only care but self-sustainability. Summer Fun and Safety 2022 is just weeks away, and we want to remind everyone that we have our younger generations covered with a plethora of activities to take part in. From jobs to camps to pop-up activities, there will be something for everyone. So applications are now available for the Emerge Job Training Program to provide employment opportunities and training scholarships for income-eligible residents of Savannah. Eligibility is based on the U.S. HUD development income requirements. I want to remind you that if you want more information about summer fun activities, you can go to savannahga.gov/summer fun. savannahga.gov/summer fun. We're also excited that the Child Development Associate Training Program we talked about will assist 80 qualifying Savannah residents over 2 years to earning a nationally recognized certification that will allow them to advance their careers in early child care and education. So this is an off-ramp. We have 80 residents. We're going to provide opportunities for them to earn a very versatile Child Development Associate Training certification. Then we also have the Certified Kitchen Cook Training Program, which will assist 10 qualifying Savannah residents with an 8-week certification period to earn 3 industry-recognized credentials in the food service industry. And we know that this is just a gateway, and we know that food service is very profitable, and so we're providing this opportunity to get people's feet in the front door. So these programs will help defray the cost of tuition, equipment, and supplies associated with job certification programs to ensure that our city has the human capital that we need to meet the ever-growing demands of our local business and industry. And we want you to visit savannahga.gov/emerge scholarship. savannahga.gov/emerge scholarship for more information. We also have a grant program available for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. And so the City of Savannah's Small Business Recovery Program will provide limited financial assistance in the form of grants to small businesses directly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Eligible businesses may receive up to $10,000 in federal grant funds made available by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. For more information and for eligibility requirements, visit www.savannahga.gov/SBRP, www.savannahga.gov/Sierra Bank Recovery Prosperous. Or you can call 912-651-6488, 912-651-6488. And as you know, we have this week the last aldermanic meeting to discuss accessory dwelling units. An accessory dwelling unit is a structure that is an individual residential unit located on the same lot as a principal dwelling. And so these meetings were established to discuss the current standards and flexibility options for ADU utilization to address additional housing needs for Savannah. The meeting details can be found on the homepage of savannahga.gov, savannahga.gov. And again, this is an opportunity for us to provide more housing that is affordable, accessible, and available for Savannah residents. The in-person meeting to discuss the Development Impact Fee Advisory Committee draft methodology report is tomorrow, May the 11th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Floyd Adams Jr. Complex at 20 Interchange Drive. Impact fees are one-time fees charged to land developers to help defray the cost of expanding capital facilities to serve new growth. Local governments can charge new development for a proportionate share of the infrastructure capacity that they require. And so the entire council, some of us longer than others, have been advocating for this process. It is a pretty involved process, and we want to thank the city manager and Team Savannah to helping us get to this point, and want to thank the members of our advisory committee. So we're well on our way to making that happen. This week, it's been a year already, Savannah proudly celebrates the first anniversary of our partnership with the Service Line Warranties of America. Through this partnership, Savannah homeowners can sign up for service plans protected against the high cost of home emergencies. We entered this partnership to help protect our residents who might not be aware that they are responsible for the maintenance and repair of utility service lines on their property. When a homeowner's water line breaks or the sewer line becomes blocked, it can be an overwhelming and expensive situation. Suddenly, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars for a problem you probably did not know existed the day before. Since the start of our partnership, the program has enrolled about 3,500 customers and handled over 300 claims with a savings of $310,000 of out-of-pocket expenses for Savannah homeowners. I was the first Savannian to sign up for this program for my residents and the properties that I own. So I would not recommend anything that I would not do myself. And so we're still looking also for Savannah-based plumbers to participate in this program. This program uses local plumbers. So if you are a local certified plumber, please get in contact with my office so we can get you connected to this program. To learn more about what the Service Line Warranties of America can offer to help to combat the financial burden at home, please visit www.slwaofa, Service Line Warranties of America .com, SLWOFA, or call 1-844-257-8795. We also want to remind you that absentee ballots for the May 24th statewide primary are being mailed to homes now, so if you registered for one, please be on the lookout. Early in-person voting began last week and will go through May the 20th. A full list of voter locations can be found at voter.chathamcountyga.gov, voter.chathamcountyga.gov. And we certainly recommend that you confirm your registration status. You can also see a polling location, and you can also see sample ballots if you visit mvp.sos.ga.gov. MVP, my voter page.sos.ga.gov. Finally, COVID is still real, folks, and we still have folks that are being infected. Right now, we're still watching it. Our infections are up slightly. Hospitalizations are relatively flat, and so again, we're asking people to make sure if you're eligible for the second booster dose, go ahead and get it. I'm trying to get mine this week. As much as I hate needles, you know, the fact is it's still out there, and we know with people traveling and going all over the place. You know, I traveled over the weekend, and certainly on an airplane I had a mask on, and will for the rest of my life. And we just have to make sure that we don't act like we are post-pandemic, because we're not. COVID is still here, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but I do want us to be sensible and certainly take the proper precautions. So that is my prepared remarks. I want to congratulate the graduates of Savannah State University on Saturday, and we're looking forward. Within another week or so, we will be unleashing a whole bunch of high school graduates on the world. That's the narrative we want to send for our community, the great things that are happening here. So I'll entertain any questions you may have.
Good morning, Mayor. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Can't complain. So, regarding the issue of gun violence, is the city considering taking any new steps or engaging in any new conversations to try and combat the issue?
I think we have a comprehensive plan, again, that not only deals with the police side of it. I think the police side is extremely important. We have to be proactive and preventative where we can, but we're also dealing with the whole of community approach. So we don't panic. We're obviously very concerned about what is going on. But again, I think as I've laid out, I think it's a multiplicity of responsibilities, relationships, partnerships, and responsibilities, and the city will fulfill ours in that. So our police are well of their role. I think the good news is partly because of good policing, and secondly because of community support. I suspect that we've had an arrest in one. I believe we'll have arrests in others relatively soon. So we'll do our part, but again, I want to make sure that we're saying absolutely clearly that this is not our narrative. And if you're a trigger puller, we don't want you on our streets. And hence why our conversations with the courts, with the prosecutors, we want to take this as the most serious public health hazard we have. And if you want to engage in that type of behavior, you don't need to be on the streets of Savannah.
And then how important is that to get those decision makers to kind of increase these penalties to make sure they're off the streets?
It's extremely important. And so again, the criminal justice system is a system, and the Savannah Police Department and the City of Savannah plays a role in that we enter people into that system. Once the arrest is made and they're turned over, I think it's very disheartening for our community, for police officers, to arrest somebody, and then in a relatively short period of time, they're back out on our streets. So I think that we as a total community have to say that it's unacceptable. It can't be just the City of Savannah. And so we're asking our partners in this system to hold up their part of the bargains to ensure that they're taking it as seriously as we are.
And then I'm sorry if I misheard you when you were talking about gun violence. You brought up pre-post-pandemic syndrome. I don't know if that's exactly what you said. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. Again, it's just something I termed. The fact is that we're still in a pandemic, but we're acting like it's post-pandemic. But then our actions are pre-post-pandemic. So you consider where we were in the last 2 years. people, lives changed. And I think that what we're seeing now is the results of that. Again, I think people are apprehensive, they are tense, they're upset. Mental illness is real and it's been exacerbated by everything that's going on, changes in status, changes in lives. And I just think the tempers are short. I think people are just, have short fuses. And, the fact is that when you have a short fuse and you have a gun, that is a very deadly combination in Savannah and everywhere in our country. And so we have to recognize it for what it is. Recognize that we all have a role to play in that. Recognize that in all of these cases that happened over the weekend, our response was literally probably less than 5 minutes. In one case, 1 minute of response time. So we're there. And so I thank our officers for being there. But on the other end of it, we have to do what we can in our neighborhoods, in our communities, to be able to diffuse these situations before they happen. Myself, just this morning, driving in here and got cut off, and my reaction before might have been a little different. And I said, no, let it go. Man, it's not worth it. Because I don't know what he got going on. And so, woosah, and let it go. We got to have, and in our community, to have people to be able to do that. I remember growing up and you have young people involved in things, and we would get these guys and you take them behind and say, man, come on, man, it's not worth it, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. And so we have to exercise that, not only for ourselves in terms of self-care, but in terms of the people that we care about. If everybody does that for the people they care about, you know what? Hey, it looks like you're really having a rough day. Hey, it looks like you're really upset about some things. And there we have resources out there to help make that happen. Domestic violence is never acceptable. And we have a great resource in Safe Shelter and other organizations that help us to deal with those types of issues. We're all in this together. We're exercising a whole of community approach, and it's going to take a whole of community to get us out of this.
And then my last question on the issue, you asked citizens to be patient as the summer months come in, as temperatures start to rise. Is there a worry that the problem might continue to be exacerbated as the summer months start coming into play?
The trends are generally during the summer months, we have an increase in violence. And it's just because people are up, they're out later. Savannah has some hot days and, tempers are just flaring. We understand that, we recognize that. That does not have to be our narrative every year. So we're calling it as we see it now, and we're asking for people to get involved and get in the middle and help be our violence interrupters and our credible messengers. There are no better credible messengers than mama, daddy, grandmama, granddaddy, auntie, uncles, friends, brothers, nieces, sons, and daughters. And so we're asking for those that they love. We recognize we have a responsibility to keep people safe. We also recognize that there are those that we love and we hold dearly, and we have a responsibility to all of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
You just mentioned as far as the prosecution ends, partnering with the courts, asking for the ability or the resources to get to the speedy trial in some of these cases. You said you wanted to make sure that it's being taken seriously. Is it that it's not being taken seriously or not seriously enough?
No, I want to reaffirm that we're taking it seriously. And I think in my letter to them was, let us know how we can help. Anything we can help provide, obviously, to help move this along. We have helped before using city facilities to help them to do grand juries. Whatever we can do to help move the process along. And certainly, if we have police officers that are not showing up or they have issues, again, we want to be of help. So we don't want to be in the way. And again, you don't know how to help unless you ask. And so we're reaffirming our partnership with our courts, and we're reaffirming our willingness to be a part of the solution. We recognize they have a role to do, and we want to assist them in that role however we can.
You mentioned the public meetings for the ADUs, the last one this week.
Yes.
Tomorrow with Alderman Leggett. What, have you heard any of the feedback from those and what folks were saying?
Again, you know, I think that people are looking forward to those opportunities. You know, again, this is a mutually beneficial relationship as it relates to the city having affordable housing, and then for people to have these assets that are on their property to be able to be used for housing, which can be an income generator for them. So, you know, it's not, it's an opportunity that helps both of us out, and so we wanted to make sure that we took the time to go around the city, and so we're completing that this week.
The last thing for me on Yamacraw, just wanted to see if the city's been in talks with the Housing Authority to buy a portion of Yamacraw Village, and then what does the city plan to do with that? The Housing Authority says it plans to sell 5 acres of Yamacraw to help with the expansion of the Springfield Canal. That details part of a legal filing in response to a lawsuit against the Housing Authority about its plans to demolish the public housing. Just threw a lot at you.
Well, I heard about that from a news report as well. I do know, I wasn't necessarily familiar with the Housing Authority's intent or anything like that. What I was familiar with was that we invested, I believe, $40 million in the last SPLOST to improve the Springfield Canal, which improves drainage throughout our city. So we put that money in there. We knew that we would have to reconfigure that canal. We know that canal abuts the back of Yamacraw. So, you know, that's all I know regarding that. I do know that improving drainage in our community is important. And I know that we cannot improve drainage with things as they are. So the rest I'll leave to the courts or to the city manager or whomever. But, you know, that's what I heard.
So to be clear, that's what the city would be doing with whatever land purchased from the Housing Authority, would be part of that Springfield Canal expansion project.
Again, I don't know. I mean, I know that we've allotted money in the last SPLOST to improve the Springfield Canal. I have said and have always said, beyond anything to improve quality of life for citizens in our city, Yamacraw is a housing development, and it should be used for housing, in my opinion. And that's what I support, housing in that area.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not familiar with the other aspects of the lawsuit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're certainly looking forward to this week. And as a reminder, 21 days from now is hurricane season. So we'll start talking about getting people ready for this inevitability that is our community. We want people to be prepared, get prepared, start talking about that now. We have been so remarkably blessed over the last couple of years, particularly during this pandemic, that we have not had to evacuate. But before that, I believe 2 out of the 3 years we had to evacuate. So we want people to start making plans now, because the folks you used to be able to go to, you may not be able to go to anymore because their situations have changed. So, as always, may God keep, cover, and protect our city, those that live here and those that visit here, and we're going to continue to do all we can to ensure that we're Savannah strong. Have a great day.